The deep space vessel Horizon floated quietly near an unknown star system. Inside the ship, bright lights lit the long white hallways. Soft hums came from the control panels. Dr. Megan Carter walked quickly through the corridor, her white lab coat swaying behind her. She was a young xenobiologist who loved her work. She had seen strange things in space, but this case felt different. Today she had to run a medical checkup on a new patient. The man was found inside a stasis pod drifting alone in space. No ship, no ID, and no signs of where he came from. The pod had been floating near a strange asteroid field when the Horizon's crew found it. The man inside looked human, but early tests showed his DNA was not fully human. There was something else mixed in, something unknown. Megan entered the med bay and took a deep breath. The patient, named Logan by the crew, lay still on the bed. He looked peaceful. His dark hair was a bit long, and his face showed no fear or pain. His chest rose and fell slowly. Wires and sensors connected him to the ship's medical system. Walked closer and looked at the screen. His heart rate was normal. Blood pressure fine. But there was something odd in the scans from the night before. His leg muscles were not the same as before. They had shifted slightly. Megan checked the scans again. The bones in his lower legs had moved a little. Not broken, not damaged, but changed. She blinked and leaned in closer. Looked almost like a new shape was forming. She tapped her cum and called Nolan Hayes, the science officer. She explained what she saw. Nolan listened, and then gave a small laugh. He said the scanner was probably just showing errors. Megan didn't agree, but she didn't argue either. She knew what she saw. Still, she decided to keep watching Logan a little longer. The lights in the med bay dimmed slightly as the ship passed through a cloud of space dust. Megan sat down by the bed and looked at Logan's legs again. She noticed something new. His skin near the ankles had a faint glow, like soft blue lines under the surface. She reached out and touched the area gently. The glow reacted. It moved. It pulsed. She pulled her hand back. Her eyes widened. This was not just some scanner error. His body was doing something, changing. She stood up and began a new scan. The machine hummed and lights blinked. The screen showed a wave of energy moving through his legs. It was slow, but clear. His legs were not human anymore, or at least not fully. Megan looked at Logan's face. He was still asleep. His chest moved calmly. But the changes in his body could not be ignored. She turned and walked to the med bay wall screen and pulled up his DNA map again. Parts of it looked like nothing she had seen before. Human DNA was familiar, but these patterns were strange. They moved, even in the model. They reacted to light, sound, maybe even thought. The door opened behind her and one of the medical crew walked in. Megan told him to keep watch and record any movements. She had to think. She left the med bay and walked down the hall toward the lab. She kept asking herself one question. What if Logan was not just a lost man? What if he was something more? What if his changes were not a sickness but a message? Megan didn't know it yet, but the answer was far beyond anything she had studied. The checkup was not simple. It was the beginning of something much bigger. She stopped near the lab door and looked out a nearby window. Stars glittered like tiny fires in the dark sky. Somewhere out there, something had sent Logan. Something had changed him. And now it was changing everything she thought she knew. Megan returned to the med bay early the next morning. The hallway was quiet, and the lights gave off a low blue glow. She walked quickly, holding a tablet in her hand. Her mind was full of questions she could not answer. She had looked through the night's scan reports, and the changes in Logan's body were getting stronger. When she stepped into the med bay, Logan was still lying in the same spot, but something was different. His legs were now glowing slightly, a soft blue light running along the bones beneath the skin. The lines looked like symbols or patterns, but Megan didn't recognize them. She leaned closer to see better. His skin was smooth, but the glowing lines moved on their own. They followed the shape of his muscles, turning and twisting like they were alive. She had never seen anything like it. She turned on the full scan system and ran a deep tissue scan. The screen lit up with new images. His bones were no longer the same shape. The lower leg bones had split and grown new pieces. Joints had shifted. Muscles had stretched in ways no human could handle. Looked like his legs were being rebuilt from the inside. Megan sat down and stared at the data. She felt a mix of fear and wonder. What was he becoming, and why? The medbay door opened, and Nolan Hayes stepped in. Hay had come to check on the new reports. Megan showed him the scan. He raised an eyebrow and leaned in. "This isn't scanner error," he said. "No, it's real," Megan replied. "It's like his body is preparing for something." They both watched as the scan lines moved. The patterns in his legs pulsed with light. Megan tapped the screen and zoomed in. Inside the bones were small energy signals. It was as if they were powering up. "He's changing," Nolan said quietly. Logan moved. Megan and Nolan both jumped back. Logan opened his eyes. They were bright blue, glowing faintly in the light. He looked around slowly, confused but calm. "Where am I?" he asked. "You're on a medical ship. We found you in a pod," Megan said carefully. Logan tried to sit up, but his legs felt heavy. He looked down and saw the glowing marks. "What is this?" he asked, staring at them. Megan hesitated. She didn't know how much to say. "You've been changing," she said. "Your body is ... adapting to something." Logan looked afraid, touched his leg and watched the blue light move under his fingers. "I don't remember much," he said. "Just stars, a mission, then nothing." Megan nodded. "It's okay. We'll help you, but we need to understand what's happening to you." Logan nodded slowly. He looked at Nolan, then back at Megan. "I don't feel pain," he said. "It doesn't hurt." That was true. His vitals were steady. No stress, no signs of pain, only change. The medbay door opened again. Crew members stepped in with a message. The captain wanted to see Megan and Nolan right away. Megan left Nolan to watch Logan and followed the crew member to the bridge. When she arrived, the captain stood looking at a large screen. It showed a strange signal coming from a nearby asteroid. The signal had started just a few minutes ago. "What is that?" Megan asked. "We don't know," the captain said. "But the pattern looks like the same one in your patient's leg scans." Megan's eyes widened. The signal was moving, pulsing in the same rhythm. It was almost like it was calling out to something. Or someone. She turned to the captain. "We need to follow it. I think it's connected to him." The captain nodded. "Then let's find out where it leads." As Megan returned to the med bay, her thoughts raced. Logan's changes were not random. Something was guiding them. Something out there in space had started this long before they found him. She looked at him as she walked in. He was awake now, watching her. The blue glow on his legs had grown brighter. "Do you feel anything?" she asked. He nodded slowly. "It's like something is waiting for me, like I have a purpose." Megan felt a chill. This was more than science. It was the beginning of something much bigger. And she was right in the middle of it. Logan sat on the edge of the bed, looking down at his legs. The glowing patterns were brighter now, moving slowly like water flowing under his skin. He reached out and touched them again. They felt warm, but not painful. They felt alive. Megan watched him from across the room. She had seen many strange things in her work, but nothing like this. Logan was calm, but she could see questions in his eyes. He wanted answers, and so did she. "Do you feel different?" she asked. Logan nodded. "I feel like something is inside me, like it's waking up." Megan looked at her tablet. The scan results showed that the changes in his legs were still going. The bones had taken a new shape, and the muscle fibers were stronger than human muscle. The nerves had more connections. It was not random. It was a design, a purpose. She walked closer and sat in the chair beside him. Logan turned to face her. "Do you remember anything new?" she asked. He closed his eyes and stayed quiet for a moment. Then he spoke. "I remember light. A voice. It told me to sleep until the signal came. It told me I had to change, so I could be ready." Megan's eyes narrowed. "A voice? You heard a voice?" "Yes," Logan said. "Not with ears. In my head, like a dream, but clear." She stood up and walked to the screen on the wall. The signal from the asteroid was still coming. It pulsed with the same rhythm as the glow on Logan's legs. "That signal might be what woke you," she said. Logan nodded slowly. "I think it's calling me." Nolan entered the room. He looked serious. "The ship is moving toward the asteroid," he said. "We'll reach it in 5 hours." And Megan turned to him. "Good. We need to see what's there." Nolan looked at Logan. He's still changing. Should we keep him in medbay?
Oh, yeah.
Logan stood up. His movements were smooth, more balanced than before. I'm not in danger, he said. I feel stronger, but I'm still me. Megan nodded. He's stable. Let him stay here, but keep the scans running. The hours passed slowly. Logan rested while the ship moved closer to the asteroid. Megan stayed in the medbay watching the scan data. The glow from Logan's legs began to spread. It moved up toward his knees. The patterns became more complex, like a code being written across his skin. He woke up again just before arrival. Megan helped him stand. Steps were steady. He no longer looked like a patient. He looked like someone ready for something important. The ship slowed as it reached the asteroid. From the windows, they could see it was not just a rock. It had shapes carved into the surface. Lines and symbols glowed faintly. There was a large opening, like a door, half buried in dust and stone. The crew gathered in the control room. The captain turned to Megan. Is he ready? Megan looked at Logan. He nodded. Then let's go, the captain said. A small team landed near the structure. Logan stepped onto the surface first. His legs glowed brightly now, lighting the ground under his feet. The symbols on the asteroid responded. They began to glow too, matching the patterns on his legs. It's reacting to him, Nolan said. Logan walked toward the door. It looked ancient, made from black stone and metal. As he got closer, the door began to move. It opened slowly, with a deep sound that echoed through the rocks. Inside was a long hallway filled with light. Strange machines lined the walls. The air felt heavy, like the place had waited a long time to be opened. Megan stepped beside Logan. Do you know what this is? He shook his head. No, but it feels right. They walked inside together. The others followed. Lights turned on as they moved. At the end of the hallway was a large room. In the center was a round platform with more symbols. Logan stepped onto it. The glow from his legs matched the symbols perfectly. The floor lit up. A soft sound filled the room, like a song. The platform rose slowly, and lights filled the walls. Images appeared in the air. Stars, ships, people not from Earth. Megan looked around in awe. This is not just a base, it's a message. Logan stood tall. His voice was steady. I think this is first contact. And Megan knew he was right. This was not the end of a mystery. It was the start of something much bigger. The room was quiet, except for the soft hum of the platform. Logan stood at the center, glowing lines still moving across his legs. Around him, the walls showed floating images. Megan watched in silence. The images moved like a story, showing a race of tall beings with smooth skin and bright eyes. They were not human, but their faces showed calm and peace. The story showed these beings building ships, traveling far across stars. Then it showed them creating something new. A hybrid, a being mixed with their DNA and human DNA. Megan looked at Logan. She understood now. He was part of that creation. The others in the room stood still, unsure what to say. Nolan stepped forward. This place was made for him, he said. Logan looked around, trying to make sense of it. I think I was made to unlock this, to be a link between them and us. Megan nodded. That's why your body is changing. It's not random. It's a signal, a message. As they watched, the platform slowly lowered. The images faded. The glow on Logan's legs dimmed, but the patterns stayed. They were now part of him. They left the chamber and walked back through the hallway. Outside, the asteroid's surface was still and silent. The crew looked at Logan with new eyes. He was no longer just a patient, with something more. Back on the horizon, the captain called for a meeting. Everyone gathered in the main room. Megan stood beside Logan as the captain spoke. We have found a structure that is not natural. It holds information from a race we have never seen before, and Logan seems to be connected to it. Nolan stepped forward. He explained the changes in Logan's body. He showed the scans and the matching signals. The crew listened in silence. This transformation is not a threat, Nolan said. It is a design. A way for them to speak to us. Some of the crew looked unsure. One of them, a man named Greg, stood up. But what if it's a trap? What if he turns into something dangerous? Logan stepped forward. I don't want to harm anyone. I didn't ask for this. But I feel like I was made to help. Greg sat down, still frowning. Megan looked at the others. We can't ignore what we've seen. This is a message from a race that wants contact. Logan is the bridge. The captain nodded. We will continue to study the structure. We will keep Logan under watch, not because we fear him, but because we need to understand him. After the meeting, Megan and Logan returned to the med bay. He lay back on the bed as she started another scan. The patterns in his legs had stopped changing for now. Do you feel all right? She asked. Tired, but not sick, he said. Like I've done what I was meant to do. She sat down beside him. There may be more. That place looked like only the beginning. Logan looked at her. Do you think they're still out there? Megan thought for a moment. Maybe. Or maybe they're gone. And this is all they left behind. A way for someone to find them. Logan closed his eyes. I feel like they're not gone. I feel them watching. That night, the crew sent a small team back to the asteroid. They began scanning the walls and collecting data. Megan stayed with Logan, running more tests. Every result showed the same thing. His body had changed, but it was stable. The transformation had stopped for now. In the early morning, Nolan came to the medbay. He found more symbols in the lower chambers. They look like maps. Maybe they show other places like this. Megan looked up. Then this wasn't a one-time message. It's part of something bigger. Nolan nodded. And Logan may be the key to all of it. As the Horizon prepared to leave orbit, the asteroid faded behind them. But something had changed. Not just Logan, not just the crew. Something in space had opened. A door, a path. Megan looked out the window at the stars. She felt it too. This was not the end of the mission. It was the true beginning. And Logan, once just a mystery in a pod, was now the first step into a larger world. The Horizon moved through space slowly, leaving the asteroid far behind. The crew stayed busy, studying the data collected from the strange structure. New patterns and maps had been found inside its walls. Megan spent most of her time in the lab looking over the symbols and trying to match them to anything from known star charts. Nothing matched. These were not human maps. They were made by someone else. Someone far older. Logan rested in the medbay. His body was no longer changing, but his mind was starting to remember things. Not like normal memories, but like images or messages left in his thoughts. He sat up on the bed and looked around. The room was quiet, filled with the soft hum of machines. Megan entered the room holding a small device. She smiled a little and sat next to him. Any new feelings? She asked. Logan nodded. I saw a city, not a human one. It floated above clouds. Buildings were smooth, bright, and there were people, but not like us. Megan listened carefully. She had heard stories of lost alien races, but nothing like this. What did they look like? She asked. Tall, bright skin, eyes like lights. They moved slowly, but not weak. They were peaceful. I think they created me, Logan said. He paused, then added, I think I was meant to carry their message. Maybe even lead us to them. Megan showed him the device she had brought. It displayed one of the maps found inside the asteroid. Do you recognize this? She asked. Logan looked at it for a moment. Then he touched the screen and pointed to one of the shapes. That one. I've seen it in my dreams. I think it's where the others are. Megan felt a chill. Are they waiting? Maybe. Or maybe they're gone, but they left something behind, Logan said. I think they want someone to continue their work. Nolan walked in just then, holding a report. We've been decoding the signals, he said, and Logan's DNA is a part of the code. It's like his body carries pieces of a language. And that explains the changes, Megan said. His body was made to connect with the tech. Yes, Nolan replied, and we think the next place is shown on this map. We've matched it with a star system nearby. We can reach it in 4 days. The captain gave the order. The Horizon changed course toward the new system. The crew worked day and night to prepare. Everyone felt the tension. This was not just an exploration anymore. It was the start of something much greater. Logan walked through the halls now. He was stronger, more balanced. His steps were silent, but full of purpose. Some crew members still watched him with doubt, but others began to respect him. He was not one of them anymore, but he was also not a stranger. As they neared the system, more memories came to Logan. He saw flashes of a great fall. A war, maybe? A loss? The bright dyed beings had vanished, leaving only ruins and keys behind. He was one of those keys. The horizon arrived near a small planet with rings of blue dust. It had no cities, no lights, just mountains and forests. But as the ship scanned the surface, a hidden signal came through. It was the same pattern. A call, just like the one near the asteroid. Logan felt it even before the others. He stood on the bridge, eyes closed, breathing slow. "It's here," he said. "I can feel it calling." The captain ordered a landing team. This time, Megan and Logan would go together. They touched down in a quiet valley surrounded by stone cliffs. The wind was soft, and the sky had two suns. The land was quiet, but not empty. Logan walked toward a rock wall. As he came close, glowing lines appeared across the stone. They matched the patterns on his legs. "This is a door," he said. Megan stared as the wall split open, revealing stairs leading down.
"At another place,"
she whispered. "Another message," Logan said. And together, they stepped inside, ready to uncover the next piece of the puzzle. The stone stairs led deep into the planet. Logan walked first, his glowing legs lighting the way. Megan followed close behind. The walls around them were smooth, made from dark stone that gave off a faint shine. No tools had shaped them. It looked like the stone had formed this way by design. They reached a large open chamber. The room was wide and round, with tall pillars along the edges. Strange symbols covered the walls. At the center was a raised platform with a strange device resting on top. It looked like a table made from glass and metal, but it gave off soft pulses of light. Logan walked toward it. As he stepped closer, the symbols on the walls began to glow. The light from his legs spread across the floor in thin lines, connecting to the device. The air became still. Megan watched in silence. She had never seen technology like this. It was quiet, but full of power. Logan placed his hands on the device. The lights grew brighter. A soft sound filled the room, like wind moving through a forest. Then the device activated. Images filled the air. Floating lights formed shapes, maps, and faces. The same tall beings appeared again. This time they looked older, tired. They stood in a circle around a young hybrid, just like Logan. One of the beings placed a hand on his shoulder. A voice echoed through the chamber. "We pass our knowledge to the one who walks between stars. It's the one who is both and neither. The one who will open the path." The light faded. Logan stood still. His face was calm, but his eyes were full of emotion. "Did you understand that?" Megan asked. "Yes," he said. "It was not just sound, it was thought. I could feel their hope." He turned to her. "They gave me everything. Not just knowledge, but purpose." "What now?" she asked. "We follow the path," he replied. "There are more places like this." They left them across space. Each one holds a part of the message, a part of the plan. Megan nodded. She looked around the chamber. This place had waited for a long time, and now it had done its job. It had passed on what it held. They returned to the surface. The air outside was warm, and the suns were still high in the sky. The other crew members waited near the shuttle. When they saw Megan and Logan, they rushed to help. "What did you find?" Nolan asked. Logan looked at him. A message, a gift, and a path to the next place. Back on the horizon, the crew gathered to hear what happened. Logan explained what they had seen. Logan showed them the new map that had appeared after the device activated. It showed 3 more places across space. One of them was far beyond known star systems. "We need to go there," Logan said. "I know it sounds far, but it's where this leads." The captain looked at the map. This would take us months, maybe longer. "Then we start now," Megan said. "This isn't just science, this is history. We're the first." The captain nodded. "Very well. Set course for the next location." As the ship turned and entered deep space, the crew got to work. Everyone had a task. Megan and Nolan studied the data. Engineers checked the engines. Logan spent time in the medbay, adjusting to the changes in his body. The light in his legs had settled into firm patterns now. They no longer moved, but they glowed stronger than ever. One night, Megan sat with Logan in the lab. They looked at the stars through the window. "Do you miss being just human?" she asked. Logan smiled a little. "I don't know." I feel like I was always meant to be this. I just didn't know it. You're different now, but still you, she said. He nodded. And I think there are others like me. Maybe not awake yet, maybe waiting. Then we'll find them, she said. Logan looked out at the stars. They're not gone. I feel it. They're still out there, and they're waiting for us. The horizon moved through the darkness, carrying the message of a lost race. Carrying a man who was once just a mystery, but now a key to something greater. And the journey was far from over. The horizon moved through deep space, farther than it had ever gone before. The stars outside looked like frozen fire. The ship was quiet, focused, moving with purpose. Everyone on board knew they were not just traveling to another planet. They were chasing something much bigger. Logan stood near the observation window. The glowing marks on his legs had grown stronger, brighter. They no longer shifted. They had settled into a fixed pattern, like a map burned into his skin. It pulsed with soft light every few seconds, matching the signal from the next point on the map. Megan joined him. She stood beside him in silence for a moment, watching the stars. We're almost there, she said. Yes, Logan answered. I can feel it. This place is different, important. The ship slowed as it approached a small planet hidden in a dense field of dust and gas. The scanners picked up a strange energy coming from its surface. It was not strong, but it was steady. The same type of signal they had seen before. They landed in a rocky valley, surrounded by high cliffs. The sky was dark with clouds, and the ground was covered in soft ash. It felt like the planet had not been touched in a very long time. Logan stepped out first. As his feet touched the ground, the light in his legs flared for a moment, then calmed. He looked around slowly. It's here, he said, the last place. Megan and the team followed. They walked across the valley until they found a large, circular platform buried under the dust. Logan stepped onto it. The ground shook slightly. A ring of light appeared around the edge. Then the center opened, revealing a stairway leading underground. They moved carefully. The stairs led to a wide hall, lined with walls of metal and stone. The air was still, but it carried a strange sense of memory. It felt like the place had been waiting. At the end of the hall was a tall door. Logan stepped forward. The marks on his legs glowed again. The door opened slowly, without sound. Inside was a large chamber. It was empty, except for a round seat in the middle and walls covered with glowing lines. Logan walked to the seat and placed his hands on the arms. The room responded. Light filled the space. The walls showed stars, galaxies, and long paths stretching through space. A voice, calm and clear, echoed through the chamber. You have reached the last beacon. You carry our hope. You are not alone. Megan looked at Logan. His eyes were closed, but he was smiling. They're speaking to me, he said. Not just words, ideas, visions. I see their world. Now I see what happened. He stood slowly. His voice was steady. Their time ended long ago. They saw it coming, so they left behind the beacons, the message, and me. A bridge, not just between species, but between past and future. Megan walked up to him. And now we return, he said. Earth must know. Others must learn. The message isn't just for me. It's for all of us. They returned to the ship. The data they carried was more than just maps or history. It was knowledge about peace, creation, and unity. The horizon turned back toward Earth. The journey would be long, but every person on board knew their purpose. Logan spent the trip sharing what he had learned. He spoke to the crew, showed them the visions. Some were hard to understand, but all of them felt the meaning. Humanity was no longer alone. When they reached Earth's orbit, the world listened. Scientists, leaders, and people everywhere heard the story. The images from the beacons were shown across every screen. The response was wide and deep. Wonder, fear, hope, and excitement. Megan stood beside Logan as he spoke to the world. He did not speak like a leader or a hero. He spoke like someone who had seen something greater and wanted to share it. We are not alone, he said. We were never alone. We were chosen to carry the light forward. Years later, the story was still told. The first contact was not a war, not a warning. It was a checkup, a signal, a chance. A man changed by time and purpose. A doctor who listened when no one else did. And it all started with one moment. Just a checkup, she had said. Then she had gasped, watching his legs begin a first contact. Everything changed forever.